Guys, welcome to Monday Mock Lavatory. I'm your host, Jason, and with me, my right, your left, a guy you know oh so well from Sunday Night Live with me as well, Frito Bandito, aka Rich. Rich, how you doing tonight?
I'm doing great, man. It's an honor to be jumping on the show with you tonight. I'll try my best to impersonate George, but I can't promise anything.
So you have to be louder, a little more bravado, a little less talent, a little more swear words, bad grammar. Look, I'm trying to get you in character. If you want, I know George well. I can play George. You can play me. You just have to be offensive.
I'll do my best. Let's get this going because I'm really tired. Not just messing with you.
Listen. It's fair. It's honest. I'm good with that, Rich. So if you hadn't noticed, this is George's show, but George is out tonight with a medical condition. And normally we also have Josh, generally aware on as well, but he's out with the same condition. They live pretty far apart, but it still feels like they were making out. So, what
They
we're gonna
call that
say
long
is
distance kissing cousins.
what the show is we're going to be doing two mock drafts live at the same time. One super flex, one quarterback league. I'm in one, Rich is in the other. We're going to give live feedback on the drafts as we go, and George is going to be in the background producing for us. Before we start, I want to do a little bit of housekeeping. I want to talk about Toilets to Titles. Toiletstitles.com for all your video content, your rankings, your articles, pretty much everything football related you need. Toiletstitles.com has you covered. We also have patreon.com/toiletstitles with all the different uh, donation levels. There's different perks, including getting entered into our listener league, which Frankenstank is going on now. I don't know if you want to announce the winner of Rock, Paper, Scissors, Rich, in our division on this show. I'm in the final, so I'm dying to know, right? I've had a strategy. I won't tell what it is until it's over. I've had the same strategy and a reason for that, and we'll talk about that later at a later time, maybe while we're at Canton at the end of this week. But with that said, once we get these drafts loaded up, and the first one we're filling up, and it looks like it's full, we are going to start drafting. So, George, whenever you are ready on this first draft, it looks like George has loaded up. Justin Jefferson predictably goes 101. And we are away with our first draft.
Yeah, it kind of reminds you back in the days when everybody always preached running back, running back, running back, but when Antonio Brown was in that stretch when he was doing so good, he was arguably a number one pick, and it kind of going that route this year with Justin Jefferson.
Yeah, and look, Jamar Chase goes off the board, and so unlike years past where people were tripping over themselves to get the top running backs, Chris McCaffrey goes third overall, and it's something we're seeing quite regular now. Justin Jefferson's obviously often the first pick. That second wide receiver slot, Jamar Chase is one of them. Up until the injury news, Cooper Kupp was another. Tyreek Hill I've seen go as high as 2 or 3. Like it's hard because like we remember his days in Kansas City, and he was really boom or bust a lot of weeks. However, last year it was like boom most of the time, so it's hard to think. And he actually got better as Tua was not on the field. So it looks like we're gonna have our first auto pick at
Come
104.
on.
That's okay. He's gonna get a good player in Austin Eckler, and
Yeah,
now in
so
Vega. Go ahead.
with CMC going at number 3, what was it? We went through the past 2 year stretch where he wasn't the overall pick in most leagues and everything. And, after going to the 49ers last year and having a solid second half of the season and everything, he's easily jumped back up to the number 1 running back coming off the board, which Eckler is really pushing him for that. In most cases, they're kind of a 1A, 1B, if you really look at it in fantasy football lingo.
So we have somebody in our chat, and I'm gonna go to our phone every once in a while and go to our chat just to make it fun. Somebody saying, Jamar Chase with Burrow hurt. The fact of the matter is, Jamar Chase is it's kind of like Tyreek Hill eats, even though Tua is not on the field. Jamar Chase is going to eat no matter what quarterback's on the field, and a lot of times, so the Tyreek Hill thing, he ate because if you're a backup quarterback, who else are you? Like, yeah, Waddle's good, but why wouldn't you throw it to Tyreek 14 times? And I see the same thing from a backup um, in uh, in Cincinnati. I am on the clock, and here's a choice that I'm happy to make most of the time here at the back. Oh, I'm not on the clock. I'm going to wait.
Yeah, one
I'm
more round.
absolutely. I was
Yeah.
just about to. I was just about to tip my pick.
So I
I got
see
all
Cooper
excited.
Kupp win as the third receiver. So here's one person that not is not worried about his injury so far. So
The team doesn't seem to be. After we did our show last night, you read about it a little bit more, and the team doesn't seem to be worried at all about that injury. They think, if he, they said if it was regular season, he'd be on the field and playing, and they're just taking it easy with him. So, and he has been the number one points per game guy, um, every time he's on the field. So, why
true.
wouldn't you, right? Um,
Well, 10 seconds and it'll be your pick. So we look like we might have an he's on. He's showing he's on.
Come
Let's
on.
let's see if was that who you were gonna pick, Jason?
It is actually not. I'm going to go ahead and make my pick. I am all in on Bijan Robinson. Unfortunately, I haven't been in a spot where I've been able to take him lately. I've been picking later in my dynasties, uh, close, but not number one overall. And I've made a couple trades to get up to number two, and I've been able to get Anthony Richardson a handful of times now, which is fun in Superflex leagues. But I really want some more shares of Bijan Robinson, and I'll go ahead and take him in this mock draft, and let Josh take who he decides to take.
Yeah, I like the Bijan Robinson pick. He's actually my second ranked running back. I'd be picking off the board over right after McCaffrey.
And then Josh must have been in agreement with me. No, he wasn't getting past me. And Josh, you'll find out. We haven't done a lot of mock drafts together, bud. But like, if I'm in the first round and he's there, he's not gonna get by me, and I appreciate that, Josh. I very much. Let's see, seeing if there's any chat. Let's see, and thank you, George, for telling people that YouTube comments get priority, because they're much easier for me to post on here. And look, that is a very good consolation prize, Devontae
It is.
Adams. You know,
Now,
there's a couple picks in here that I want to talk about that went
right.
earlier than ADP, and I appreciate it. Nick Chubb's one for sure.
Yeah, so Nick Chubb, I to me, he's probably my third ranked running back this year because of the volume that he's going to be getting. So, I mean, he fell in line where I thought he would be ranked. So, I actually, I'm more surprised Barkley being picked at number 4. I know he signed and he's good to go and everything, but I have him ranked behind Bijan and these others.
So the interesting thing for me there is it looks like it was auto drafted, which is unfortunate, but
Right.
they also like auto draft did me a very big solid, and and gave them Saquon instead of Bijan, which surprised me, but made me excited all at the same time. I've been getting, around the 10th spot, Devontae Adams has been falling because the Raiders offense, let's just say a question mark. So I've been able to do like a Bijan and a Devontae Adams. Josh Beware is too good of a drafter to allow that to happen for me. He also took St. Brown, which is somebody I was looking at here. I am going to pull the trigger on Diggs. For a guy who wasn't happy with his usage last year, he still had 100 and I don't know 50 some odd targets last year and a ton of catches and a bunch of yards. Like, give me that as upset all day long. I'm going to go ahead and take Stephon Diggs as my wide receiver to pair with Bijan.
Nice pick. Nice pick. Garrett Wilson
And,
right after that. I like that one. Is he jumping up your board and everything as far as where he's falling in right here?
so yeah, look, I want to see the ankle be okay. They say it's going to be fine. Everybody's saying everything's going to be fine. The tough thing about Garrett Wilson is they have a tough start to the season. Play a lot of talented defenses. Buffalo right out of the gate. They do play Kansas City in there early, so like maybe a shootout. But they play some New England, which always plays them tough. They're not a great team this year, but they'll play them tough. Like 5 out of their 6 games, not so great. So I'm a little worried for that team out of the gate, and so we'll see how it works out. But and then George just told me that the second draft started, so you potentially need to pay attention to see when your pick is, Rich.
Yeah, Josh is up right now on the other one, and then I'm 2 after him, so I'm paying attention on
Okay.
it. Now, Travis Kelce, obviously, this is a
Oh, come on,
single
dude.
flex QB and stuff, so I can see him being in the first round. But are you interested that he went at number what 1-6?
1-6, yeah. Yeah, it's early, it's early, but it's such a positional advantage. You understand it. So, and I have to actually give me a minute because let's see, Patrick Mahomes goes early. So this is what surprises me about that team. I am a guy, if I take a tight end early, I won't take a quarterback early. And if I take a quarterback early, I won't take a tight end early. He went ahead and did both. That's tough taking 2 single positions early. It leaves you a little weaker at either running back or wide receiver or both. But
yeah, but he does got the connection. He does got the stack and stuff. That's probably one of the most deadliest stacks you can have. But we'll have to see how he comes back around with these next 2 rounds and see how he follows up with it.
All right, I am gonna have to. Yeah. So George says after the second round here, we'll switch over to the Superflex, which will be a little fun because I'll have to try and pay attention to my draft so I don't auto draft while talking about the other draft. So
I gotcha. So another so is that Nviga coming up with Cooper Cup and Jalen Waddle. I love that receiver combination starting out on this as much as I love Devontae Adams and Amon St. Brown, I kind of like that stack just a little bit better, and that's kind of weird that I'm saying that.
Well, it's not super weird because Cup is an elite talent, and where Josh drafted, you can't get that talent anymore. You know what I mean? Like it's not available for you.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not that weird. All right, so second round is almost in the books. 3 quarterbacks off the board. Again, it's pretty early, but they are the 3 best of the best, the 3 you would expect. So the second round is gone. Derrick Henry, St. Brown, Diggs, Garrett Wilson, Brown again, Taylor, Patrick Mahomes, Waddle, Hurts, Allen, Olave, Pollard, Stevenson, and that is the second round. Surprises in there, not so much. Just the quarterbacks being pushed in the second round is kind of new for this year. And we are gonna start talking about your draft now. And I'm gonna have to get kind of closer to see it.
Yep.
But
what's interesting about this draft and stuff like that, if you don't mind, if you would have flipped the first round and stuff like that's probably how a draft should have started. Maybe not the players per se, but the quarterbacks going off 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So I don't know if it was maybe a note of Jefferson at the number 2 pick and everything. As I'm on the clock, that might have been maybe, I don't know, maybe that's the route you want to go if you're wanting Justin Jefferson.
Well, so in a super flex, it's for a super flex, it's interesting to see like you getting Josh Allen at the 6th spot, and then that's the third quarterback, and quarterback's not going until the end of the round. Now you start out with 2 quarterbacks. You've got Allen and Watson. Not bad considering. In a super flex now, you're pretty much done at quarterback unless you want a third one late.
Nah, look, maybe the case of Deshaun Watson falling to me and stuff like that. I mean, look, you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 QBs. That's going to be the trend of all super flex leagues. If you truly got an experienced league that's drafting and stuff like that. So Deshaun Watson is usually the case where you're getting him in this round and stuff like that. So the fact that everybody else went skill position after that first round, after that drafting that first QB, I don't know if that would have been the case, say, if Burrows, Herberts were drafted in the top 5. You might see a different switch there.
So we will I'm almost on the clock in the other one. So I'm going to go through the first round really quickly. In the Superflex, it's Hurts, Jefferson, Pat Mahomes, McCaffrey, Chase, Allen, Eckler, Jackson, Burrow, Herbert, Fields, and Lawrence. And guys, if you are mocking with us, please like and subscribe. Let's jump in, and then somebody mentioned turn the sound button off, guys. I am not sure who has that. So, and then hey yo.
All right, so round 2 in this one, after starting out with the QBs, they come back around and go Barkley, Hill, Kelsey, Bijan Robinson, Nick Chubb, Cup, Watson, Tua, Devontae Adams, AJ Brown, CD Lamb, and finishing up round 2, you had the number 1 spot come out with Hurts and Prescott. You had two teams that went QB the first 2 rounds.
Yeah, and I like it. Hurts, Prescott's solid. Allen, Watson is solid. Team 4 there, and that's Josh. McCaffrey, Adams, no QB. So we'll see how he does in a Superflex league with no QB.
Let's go!
Uh-oh.
So in the other league, I did pick my third pick. Josh, if I know you're watching, bud, and you're on the clock in, it looks like you're on the clock in the other league, and now you're on the clock in this league as well. So, and then Peter says, I wanted to double up on QBs on second pick, but didn't.
Yeah, I think a lot of strategy is sometimes people want to go that route, but what ends up happening is a player falls to you that you don't expect. So it kind of you kind of zig when you should be zagging too, but it could be zag when you zig. So
yeah, I've got to say, my third pick was T. Higgins, and I'm kind of or not T. Higgins. I'm sorry, Najee Harris. I'm a big fan. We switched back over. So
I got you.
All right. So we're about to close out the third round, and I'll read it off for everybody here in a second. Ramondre Stevenson, Smith, Devontae Smith, Josh Jacobs, Jackson Smith, and Chigba. Ooh, that was early. Didn't notice that one. Joe Mixon, Breece Hall, Mark Andrews, Travis Etienne, Debo Samuel, Najee Harris, T. Higgins, DK Metcalf, rounding out the third. Smith and Jigba going off before DK Metcalf is very new for me.
Yeah, so this is one of our patron members that is I've been chatting with him in our patron chat and stuff. So kind of a same kind of a draft he did in another where he was showing, and I kind of had the feeling he's a big Seattle fan. So could it be a favorite team pick? Maybe he loves that guy there. So look, sometimes they say go get your guy, but maybe that might be this might be a little bit too soon.
All right, let's see what Josh is going to do. It looks like so far 0 RB, but we will see. We will see. And he sniped me again. I was literally thinking about taking Lamar Jackson there. So that's a bummer. I'm going to go with my backup pick here. I'm a running back heavy guy. I've got upside with Bijan, but safe work. I've got safe work with Najee Harris. I'm going to go upside again here with Jahmyr Gibbs.
I like that.
A lot of passing work in Detroit. So
I do got a question for you. So you
yes,
said
sir.
you got sniped with the Lamar Jackson. So are you willing to draft a QB in a single flex league this early?
So there are a handful, if they make it to the fourth round, that I am willing to take. And I don't typically do it, but I've been doing it in mocks to see how it works out.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, this is Lamar Jackson was the last one that I would take in the fourth round. Obviously, Allen, Hurts, and Mahomes aren't falling there. I've seen Lamar Jackson fall to me around this spot. Obviously, Josh is a solid drafter, so he didn't. But I'm willing to do it in the fourth round for guys I have I think have league winning upside, a lot of rushing potential, and the weapons they put around Jackson make me excited for his passing ability.
Yeah. I think in a single QB league and stuff, I understand the potential and the star status of these four QBs. It just I feel like I'm waiting until round 6, maybe 7 before I even go after my first QB. And if say Trevor Lawrence and Deshaun has fallen to me at that 6th or 7th round and everything, I'd be happy with that QB in that range because then you'd be able to pick up your skill positions.
So look, there's a ton of stud skill positions left on the board. There are a handful of league winners. There's another one that gets taken later. I mean, everybody knows who it is. It's Justin Fields. He's been, there's a handful of guys who on the ground will win you a week, and then oh, by the way, he could throw a touchdown or two. And then, but these guys at the top, Mahomes doesn't run that much, but can. But Jackson, Hurts, Allen, those guys will run every week and will definitely throw you touchdowns every week. Those are kind of cheat codes at the position in a way. So those are guys I'm willing to take early. The thing I like about Jackson is, MVP from a couple of years ago in this draft, almost full 2-round discount. So QBs that can be top 3 are worth it in the 4th if you get a good running back wide receiver already. Agreed. So, and then George mentioned he's given us a heads up. We're going to switch to your draft here at the end of the 4th round. Gotcha. But I'm gonna read off the 4th round and then we'll swap.
Yep.
Something, it was auto drafted. I think maybe no, it was probably not. I like Aaron Jones this year. He's going in the 4th round. If I hadn't taken Najee Harris, I probably had wanted to have a little fun with some upside here. I probably would have taken Aaron Jones.
Yeah, he's with Rodgers not there, and that with Love, I mean they're gonna lean on Jones and Dillon quite a bit. So he has high upside.
Okay, so into the 4th round, we're going to read off the 4th round. Started with Keenan Allen, Lamar Jackson, Jahmyr Gibbs, Calvin Ridley, Aaron Jones, Kenneth Walker, Drake London, Cooper, Zay Flowers, DeAndre Hopkins in Tennessee, Joe Burrow, and then there goes the quarterback I was talking about, Justin Fields going off the board. Single quarterback league, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, half the teams in the league have quarterbacks, and now we are, George, whenever you are ready, we're swapping back over to Superflex. Also, and then Josh, even though he's under the weather, giving us some good content in comments and saying that Aaron Jones was his other option and agreed. And then Joe Clark, how dare wide receivers go first? They aren't. Look, we're a dinosaur in this league, Joey. Running backs first early and often. Wide receivers are the new hotness.
Yeah, and it's kind of like how the NFL has went to an air game, passing league. Same thing is going for fantasy. It's like receivers are starting to become that new running back position. You want to say,
All right, so I don't know that we've gone through the rounds in this second league. So in the 3rd round, St. Brown, Derrick Henry, Stephon Diggs, Garrett Wilson, Waddle, Jonathan Taylor, Tony Pollard, Mark Andrews, Chris Olave, Najee Harris, Anthony Richardson off the board early, Josh Jacobs. And then in the 4th round, T. Higgins, Jahmyr Gibbs, Calvin Ridley, Travis Etienne, Kirk Cousins, Ramondre Stevenson, Breece Hall, Metcalf, Rodgers, Devontae Smith, Daniel Jones. That should make Joey happy. Joe Mixon, Aaron Jones off the board. And then we're into round 5. I won't read out the rest of round 5 until we get there. And so both drafts are in round 5 at the moment.
Yep, I'm up right now. So I'm looking at my options. And as much as I like my options, there's one person that I'm very high on, and this might be a reach, but I am going after him.
Let me see who you picking. So it is a reach. I don't hate it. I also don't know who. I don't see who all is available still, but look, I'm a Bucks fan. I'm not going to hate on it for sure.
Yeah, so like I said, I understand this is a super flex league, but the fact that I look, I'm got a little risk, drafting Jonathan Taylor and Brees Hall and everything. So I want to make sure I have another running back in there just in case I don't back myself up into a situation where one of these players ain't starting out the season.
All right, so I have to get through these comments real quick. George Reed saying RB's devalued both in the NFL and in drafts. It's disgusting. Wanted to stack Devonta with Hurts. Shake my head. Hey, sometimes you can't always get what you want, but you try sometime. And then let's see. Joe wants to bring back 80s football. Can't
I
really
agree,
bring
Joe.
back, not my favorite, but it's fine. Peter says, if I feel you all didn't like my Kirk Cousins in the fourth.
No,
Honestly, with the quarterbacks that were left, it was fine.
yeah, it was a solid pick.
Yeah. Very not bad. And then Joe with the $2 super chat to say Danny Dimes.
Ooh,
He knew
super
we'd have to
chat.
say it if he'd have to say it if he paid us. So I'll keep saying Danny Dimes if you keep giving us $2. That's for sure. All right, we're going to talk about the fifth round here. And now that we're through the fifth round in this one, we'll talk about teams we like. So fifth round, Aaron Jones, TJ Hawkinson, Geno Smith, Alvin Kamara, Russell Wilson, Rashad White, George Kittle, Keenan Allen, Cooper, Sanders, Deebo Samuel, and Damian Pierce. Before we talk about the teams we like, I am on the clock in the other one. So if you want to talk about the team you like, why don't you do that?
Yep. So far, the team I'm liking the best, and it's kind of odd because they don't have no running backs yet, but I do like team number 3 with the Mahomes, AJ Brown, Diggs, Devontae Smith, and then following up with the second QB, Geno Smith. Yeah, no running backs, but he has a solid 3. The thing I love about Devontae Smith is, look, AJ Brown had a solid season last year. Devontae Smith had a solid season. AJ Brown took over the first half, where Devontae Smith took over the second half. Here's the thing that I love about Devontae Smith. AJ Brown made it through a full season last year, and that is unheard of. So maybe the bounce back this year is he gets hurt this year, and Devontae Smith gets a lot more targets in the time frame that he's out. That's the one thing I like about him. He's a skinny little receiver that, for some reason, knows how to avoid getting hit and getting taken down and avoiding any injuries.
All right, so I just made 2 picks, and we can talk about that in a little bit. But I do want to, through 5 rounds, I'm going to take a look real quick. I mean, I like your team a bit, especially if Jonathan Taylor plays, but I'm going to assume Jonathan Taylor's having his own issues. Let's see who. Pick number 1 is. So I love team number 1, starting with Hurts and Prescott, and then Amon-Ra St. Brown is a solid wide receiver PPR machine. Joe Mixon and Aaron Jones as 2 stud running backs. Like, sign me up for all that all day and twice on Sunday. That's for a guy who didn't take a running back until the 4th, took 2 solid ones, 4th and 5th. That is my kind of team right there. I love that team.
Yep. Now, I finished my pick. I just made my last pick for this round 6. I went Madison, kind of going running back heavy there. So
let's see. George is saying team 1 wanted Lamb and Prescott and got sniped. And we're going to switch again after this round. I'm going to read off round 6 in the Superflex, and then we are going to switch back to the single quarterback. And then, Pat saying I did stipe him, or he did want him. So We're just waiting on the last pick of round 6. Okay, round 6, Drake London, Kenneth Walker, Jerry Jeudy, Jared Goff, Brandon Ayuk, Terry McLaurin, Alexander Madison, Kyle Pitts, Kyler Murray, solid potential pick there, Cam Akers, J.K. Dobbins, DeAndre Hopkins to round out the 6th in the Superflex. And that means we are now going back to single quarterback draft. We're going to talk about round 5, and then after round 5, we will we'll rate the teams we like here. So round 5, Alexander Madison, Cam Akers, Jerry Jeudy, Damian Pierce, Justin Herbert, Alvin Kamara, DJ Moore, Terry McLaurin, Miles Sanders, Christian Watson, DeAndre Swift, and TJ Hawkinson. So I cannot pick a team that is mine as one that I like. So I am looking through. So I'd like Nick Chubb and Jonathan Taylor if I knew for sure that Jonathan Taylor was not going to have issues. You know who I like? I like Josh's team. Adams, St. Brown, T. Higgins, solid wide receiver start. You sniped me with Jackson and then came back with Swift and Connor. Not as strong at running back as I typically enjoy, but pretty solid for the fact that, you didn't take a running back until the 5th round in a non-super flex.
Yeah, and look, a lot of people are sleeping on James Conner. Look, he's still going to be the stud running back there. So, great running back choice on round 6.
All right, and somebody posted as toilet's title. I'm not 100% sure who that is, but they like
saying he likes koala.
Okay, that makes sense. Hey, look, when you pick first, usually you do pretty well. And having Tony Pollard and Ramondre Stevenson, Madison, and then grabbing Darren Waller, who I think is going to be the steal in this round of tight ends, of this grouping of tight ends in the 5th round or 6th round.
Mm-hmm.
Of the grouping, Pitts, Kittle, Goddard, give me Waller. I actually did that in the Scott Fishbowl. So,
Waller could end up being their number 1 option throughout by the end of season.
I mean, by the beginning of the season, they don't have much of an option any other way. So,
basically, he's a wide receiver and a big ass body.
All right.
So
looking over
I
options.
agree with you. I like Josh's team. Starting out with the receivers, but I also like number 2. I like to chase Olave, Devontae Smith. Now, Joe Burrow, I'm kind of worried about with his situation, but he follows up with Cam Akers, Devontae Williams. If he's 100%, he's going to be the lead dog there. And James Cook. I love James Cook at this point. In a high-powered offense and stuff like that, it's going to get some passes out of the backfield. I do like that number 2 team.
For sure. Like, you have to rely on Cam Akers, who hopefully looks good like he did towards the end of last year. Javonte Williams, everything coming out is that he's healthy again. Hopefully that stays the same. And then James Cook, they're saying, is going to be the number 1. Yeah. But that hasn't typically been great for fantasy out of Buffalo. So you have to hope to buck the trend there.
I'm hoping that is the case, Jason.
And then, as George says, he loves Akers this season. He's going to eat.
Yeah, I think based off where he's been going and stuff like that, he hasn't fallen to me where I'm willing to take him. But the backup is Kyron Williams. So he's going to have plenty of time and plenty of options and plenty of touches.
Yeah. All right. Let's see. We are in the 7th round in this draft. And then, what round are we in your draft, Rich?
We are in the middle of round 8.
Okay. George, after the 7th round in this draft, if you want to swap it back over, and we can get over to the one that's ahead a little bit. All right, a couple picks made. Christian Kirk, Mike Williams, and I am 1 pick away. And then there goes another quarterback.
Yeah. But this is, I mean, look, for a single QB league, this is kind of the trend. Yeah, you had some QBs that went earlier, a big group of them and everything. But I mean, it's the standard 1, 2, 3 based ranked on how they're going. So
yeah, there's still a couple on the board that I'd be super happy to take. So and I'm about to make George a happy man. So I'm gonna take a guy that George really has been in love with this whole off season. And George Pickens went right before this man, and I think this guy's going to get more catches, more targets, and hopefully some touchdowns this year compared to last year. I'm taking Deontay Johnson.
yeah, look, the only thing he needed was touchdowns. I mean, one of the highest targeted receivers and stuff in the league and everything. It just didn't produce in the red zone.
And there's only a handful of teams here that don't have quarterbacks, and there are a handful of quarterbacks I'm still happy with. So I'm going to continue not to take it. I actually really kind of like the way my teams fall in here. So
yeah, you'll still have some good options.
Yeah.
Josh, he's got his running backs.
Yeah, for starting 0 RB, ending up with Swift, Connor, and Antonio Gibson, you could do much worse, for sure. Yeah, it's not bad.
And then in the round was Isaiah Pacheco.
Yep, so Rashad White, James Cook, Tyler Lockett, Michael Pittman, Montgomery, Mike Williams, Christian Kirk, Deshaun Watson, George Pickens, Deontay Johnson, Antonio Gibson, Isaiah Pacheco, rounding out round 7. And it's my turn to draft. And
is it time to pull that trigger?
It's time to pull this trigger. And look, this is a guy I've been saying I'd take in this round pretty much every time he gets to me.
Mm-hmm.
I should be grabbing a running back here, honestly. Like, I'm looking at guys that are available, and there's running backs I would want, but every time this guy falls to this round, I'm taking him. Mike Evans, round 8.
Solid pick.
Give me 1,000 yards. And then George's private chat. We're going to swap it after my picks, which is awesome. And then comments, don't be a Johnson. Thank you for that. And then Johnson's going to eat. So, yeah. Yep. And whenever we want to switch over to Superflex, George, there we go.
So what round are we in? Round 8. Did we go over round 6 at all?
Hold on. We will. I do have to address this. George, I get what you're saying about Trask and Baker. If Mike Evans can go and get 1,000 yards with Mike Glennon and Josh McCown, he can sure as heck do it. We talked about it earlier. When you have a bad quarterback, they're going to feed the best target on the field, and that's still Mike Evans. So he is getting 1,000 yards this year. That is a board bet I am willing to take. And then we're going to go ahead and hide that now.
I will stay away.
All right. Round 6. Look, he's done it his whole career until he doesn't do it. It's a fool's errand to say he won't. It's not like he's played with good quarterbacks throughout his history in Tampa. He's had a good one lately. Correct. So round 6, Drake London, Kenneth Walker, Jerry Jeudy, Jared Goff, Brendan Ayuk, Terry McLaurin, Alexander Madison, Kyle Pitts, Kyler Murray, Cam Akers, J.K. Dobbins, DeAndre Hopkins. Round 7, Deontay Johnson, Bryce Young, Darren Waller, Swift, Connor Moore, Derek Carr, Javonte Williams, Dallas Goedert, Chris Godwin, Christian Watson, Matt Stafford. I'm not going to keep doing these round after round. I do want to say we are we're gonna pick the team we like again in round 10. Anything from those rounds stand out to you as I'll just say it. Derek Carr and Jordan Love getting 2 starters this late, allowing you to have Eckler, Cup, Pollard, Stevens, Kittle, McLaren, Pickens. Takes a lot of guts in a super flex league to go that route.
Yep.
So I'm pretty impressed that you got two solid starters with taking your first quarterback this late.
Yeah, and you got what is that? Team number, gosh dang it. Number 11 at spot 11, already drafting 3 QBs, already getting his backup.
I mean, it's a super flex. The thing about this is there's no trades that we'll see. We won't see because it's a mock draft, but it's always great to have that quarterback. There's always a team that has one go down, can't get another one. But, I can say we'll see what happens in round 10 here, but I can say of the teams that I'm looking at here, team number 1 we talked about I like it even more because grabbing Hopkins, Deontay Johnson, and then Cook and Montgomery, all of that. So team 1 is one of my favorite. And then the team that took Carr and Love ended up with Odell Beckham. Not my favorite, but, a solid team. And Odell Beckham could be very good this year.
Yeah, so I'm looking at it, and I'm still I love number, who is that? I gotta look at my other screen to see. Odor? No, I'm sorry, Vabir at the 11th spot. Look, he got a well-balanced team and everything. He's looking at, he got his 2 QBs early now. Anthony Richardson, still got a lot to go on him, but he got Tyreek, and then he just bounced him back and forth between Gibbs, Debo, Walker, Watson, Cook, Dillon, and Gabe Davis. Look, he's getting a balanced overall team. Here's the one thing I always say about football and everything. Look, I want to have 2 to 3 positions that I know I'm going to get high upside. Like we're pushing 20 points. If I could get the rest of my positions just at least average 10 to 12 points per week and stuff like that, I'm setting myself up for success. And if I'm looking at that lineup and stuff like that, look, that's a team that's any one of those players can go off, but you're going to have players that are constantly producing 10 to 12 points a week.
Absolutely. Yeah, he does have a very solid team top to bottom. And I am almost K Garner 16. You got the guy I was after.
In which one? Oh, in yours?
In the single, yeah. I'm up to bat. So there was somebody I was looking at.
So in round 10, it looks like it went A-Chain, Davis, CJ Stroud, Charbonnet, Penny, Beckham, Njoku, Thomas, Cooks, Herbert, which I like Herbert that late, and Jamal Williams is another person I like that late too. Although now that we know Kamara is only getting a 3-game suspension, he's going to fall down a little bit, but I still like that pick in the 10th round. And then ending that round was a QB Pickett.
Yeah, you forget towards the bottom there, Sam Howell goes too. There's still a couple of starters, right?
Yep.
So, all right, Rich, I'm gonna let you do a little fill in here because I'm close on picking my side again.
Yep,
so
I gotcha. So, tight end wise, look, you got your standard tight ends going off the board. I love Evan Ingram in the 8th round. That's a solid pick. Look, he signed his contract. Look, he's going to go out there and produce. You got Trevor Lawrence that can make that next step. And not only that, you got Ridley and Christian Kirk that is really going to take coverages away from everybody. So they all have a chance to really eat. Ingram going down the middle. I love after the season he had last year to improve even more on that. I could see him being a top 3 tight end. What are your thoughts?
I'm sorry. I'm
sorry.
Who were you talking about? Which one?
Evan Ingram.
Yeah. So, he signed a decent deal, plays with Trevor Lawrence. They have a lot of weapons there now. So hopefully it's not a 1-year flash in the pan, but yeah, especially late like this, Not a bad pick for sure. Absolutely. So I'm one pick away. I'm waiting on Josh to make his pick, and then
Yeah, and
I
I'm
am up.
actually up. So let's see. In my league, I'm looking at my team. I'm balanced. I got running backs and receivers. I know I'm up to pick, and I am going to go to a player that's on a new team this year. Oh, did I time out? No, not it. We're good. I got Jacoby Myers. Should have a solid right behind there with Devontae Adams.
Drafting next to Josh is so frustrating. I know I
Is he
got him
still?
early.
Oh, okay.
He grabbed Roshan Johnson, which was going to be my next pick. So that's a solid pick. I am going to take Jerick McKinnon.
Yeah, George, it might be a homer pick, but look, I had to have at least one Raiders play on there, and I'll take Jacoby Myers that late in a draft. Look, he's going to be the 2A, 2B with Renfro. I do like Renfro as a bounce back this year, but look, they brought Myers in for a reason. He knows this offense. He knows McDaniels. So obviously he's going to get a good solid shot at producing some numbers here.
And then George says, I don't hate it. I just like busting your bubbles. And then
I get it, George. I get it.
And then Josh having to give me crap about taking my guy. I appreciate that. I had him queued up and ready to go. But that's the way that you got to know when you're drafted next to talented people, they're going to take your guys. So you just got to roll with the punches. So we are through 11 rounds in the Superflex draft. Elijah Moore, Sam Howell, Pat Fryermuth, Jimmy Garoppolo, Sky Moore, Jacoby Myers, Thielen, Jerick McKinnon, Brian Robinson, Harris from Buffalo, not a bad pick. Andre Miller, Dalton Schultz. That rounds out round 11. And we can talk about okay, so Schultz this late is amazing. He's going to feast in Houston.
Yep, quarterback friend.
Yeah, absolutely. And then Josh says don't mix his double stack and Superflex, so I'm going to go back and look at.
I'll pull it up real quick.
Let's see. Let's see your stack here.
Garrett Wilson and Rodgers.
Oh, yeah. Sorry, I was looking at the wrong one. I was looking at my draft. Sorry. I'm still looking at my draft because it's the one that's on the board. You know what? We'll come back and talk about your double stack a little bit more. Running two at the same time is fun.
Yeah, I'm trying to pay attention to mine and look at this. I can see how it's a challenging as it's already up to me coming to pick again already.
All right. Josh Beware. Okay. So. Oh, yeah. He's got Garoppolo. And did he take Adam? I can't see the whole board in this.
Oh, Devontae, yeah, gotcha.
Yeah, I think he took Devontae Adams. I can't see the whole board anymore on this one. So.
Yeah, he did.
So he took Adams and Jimmy. Yeah. Yep. And that's what he's saying there. All right, George, you want to switch back to the single QB for a little bit? There we go. That one I can see the whole board on, so it makes it a little easier. All right, we haven't done these in a while. We'll do round 10, which was Michael Thomas, Roshan Johnson, Jaron McKinnon, Tyler Algier, Pat Fryermuth, Juju Smith-Schuster, Aaron Rodgers, Odell Beckham, Kirk Cousins, Cortland Sutton, Dalton Schultz, Alan Lazard, Jacoby Myers. And then I've got to say, Issos took a second quarterback and burned me very hard there because Geno Smith I took Anthony Richardson early. I was going to take Geno Smith late. And he that kind of screws up my whole plans, man.
That's the whole point of drafting, man. Getting a wrench thrown at you.
Well, he did, and that's unfortunate for me. All right, I am on the board. It is telling me that I need to take a tight end because I haven't taken a tight end yet, but I'm not going to take a tight end because, yeesh. I'm going to take Kendre Miller.
There you
Now,
go.
there's the thing is they're talking about signing Kareem Hunt. That's probably not going to be great. And then Issos is saying he's sorry he's just grabbing talent. Look, I ain't mad at you. I'm just frustrated I didn't get him. So I get you. Guys, remember, if you're enjoying this, you're watching this, like and subscribe. That way, when we do these, we're going to do these every Monday. You'll know exactly when they go live. If you want to, we have a Gilded chat. Let us know. We can get you the link to the Gilded chat. You can come in and join and talk fantasy football 24/7 with all the people doing this and a bunch more. And again, we have a Patreon, patreon.com/toiletstitle. If you're so inclined, you can be part of like some of the best group chats that there are out there. You can be part of the best listener league with the most insane rules for sure. And then George says he's going to post the Gilded leagues in the chats. That way you'll have them available. Come join us, man. Like 24/7 fantasy football chat. It's active. So we're helping people with their drafts, talking fantasy football the whole time. Come join. All right. We're getting to the point where I'm going to need a tight end. Let's see what we got available. I've punted for so long. I'm going to go ahead and take one. I'm going to take Dulcich. In the offseason, I wasn't that big a fan. Everybody thinks Tim Patrick getting hurt means Marvin Mims is going to get a chance. Everybody thinks KJ Hamler not being there means Marvin Mims is going to get a chance. Maybe it's just going to go to Greg Dulcich. And in the instance that it does, I'm going to go ahead and take him and give it a shot.
Very solid choice.
He had some hot and cold moments last season, mostly cold, but look, when you punted this long, you got to take a shot. So
yeah, good point. I know a lot of people are talking about. I know we even talked about it late last night on the show about with the injury to in the Denver, the options of going to the receiver, but it could easily go to Dulcich too, and that's under the radar where people are probably not thinking about that. They see the nice young talented receiver.
Hey, I'm a Marvin Mims guy. I got an autographed football that's going to be one of Georgia My Charity League prizes at some point because I was able to get it for a good price. And if he actually does very well this year, then it's going to be it'll be a good prize next year. So I'm hoping for it. I'm rooting for it. But in this mock draft, it's all Greg Dulcich. That's it.
Yep. Can't argue with that.
All right, so we're at the point where some defense went off the board in the 1 QB league. We're at that time. QB's kickers start getting mixed in. And guys, if you haven't noticed, George is posting the Gilded chat into the chats for these mock drafts. If you're not in them already, some of you are, I know, because that's where we posted. To open these leagues out, and that's the other thing. You get first shot when we do these mock drafts on Monday nights, and mock drafts we do throughout the week. You get the first shot at it from the Gilded chat. So, jump in there if you like mock drafting with a bunch of people that are super active and have a lot of fun. So, going through this latest round, we're in round 12. Daniel Jones went, Dalton Kincaid, Greg Dulcich, Ezekiel Elliott, Tyler Boyd, Rondell Moore, 49ers defense, Devonta Foreman, Tyler Higbee, the Eagles defense, Mingo out of Carolina, which is a nice pick, Nico Collins, which is a good pick, Dallas Cowboys start round 13, and we're flying through round 13. We've got a handful of auto now that guys not making picks. Tank Bigsby, not a bad pick in round 13, if I had to say.
So I just posted in my in the draft that I'm in the chat. So question I like to ask it, even in yours and stuff like that. So how many leagues where you're drafting defense and kickers?
Me personally, I'm only in one left. I only have one now. We can let if anybody wants to comment in the chat or the on YouTube. I'm only in one left, and that's the home league. George told this story last week. I'll tell it again. We tried to get rid of kickers and defense, and it was a league where we didn't have to start in tight ends. What didn't make sense is that you didn't have to take kickers and defense, or you had to take kickers and defense, and then we were trying to get rid of that, but they added tight ends. So they went the opposite way. They forced more. So not awesome, but when you think about it, a tight end's more important than a kicker. I'm still going to be trying to get rid of kickers and defenses. So
Yeah. So in our chat group, in the Superflex League, I asked that question and I got mixed answers. I got one, Tony Folman. He got only 2 leagues left that they draft kickers and defenses. I got one, Potato Chip Man. I hope you're a Frito Lay guy, Potato Chip Man, but he has no leagues where they draft him. Like I said, then you got some that still has. There's one that got 4 leagues where they still draft him.
And then Josh, your comment here says never that time. Remind me at what point in the show that was for, just defense. So I know.
He says never that time to draft defenses.
Okay, well, yeah, I get it, but you have to in this one, so it's going to make you at some point.
Do it.
Well, if you're not gonna until the last couple rounds, he's got one more round to take some talent.
So, am I reading this correct? In your guys' single QB league, you guys are going 16 rounds?
It is 16 rounds. That's correct. What is yours set for?
It's 15.
Okay.
Oh, and I am up.
And George, whenever you want to flop it over, that's all
right.
All right. So let's see what you did. Hey, you went ahead and took Marvin Mims. Good job.
I did. He was sitting there staring me in the face after we had the conversation.
Counter programming to the Greg Dulcich. I get it. Yeah. I get it. And look, you let this one sneak right by you. Zamir White was on the board ready to be taken.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, that hurts me. That hurts very much. Josh, solid pick, man. Solid pick. Wow, I can't believe I let that one slide. Did he have Jacobs? So now he has the 3 stack for the Raiders.
Yeah, I mean, maybe that's not something I would do, especially on a projected bad offense. No offense, Rich.
Hey, this is fantasy football, man. I know, George. I know.
He did me a solid and left me Zamir White in our draft. So I appreciate.
It's the fact that I'm having to pay attention to 2 drafts as we're going and chat and everything. I just lost all train of thought there, George.
All right, so we're gonna talk 14th round. Jaylen Warren goes off the board. That's a solid pick. Williams down in New Orleans. That's a solid pick. Marvin Mims, I liked. Again, we talked about Zamir White with Josh Jacobs. Them talking about potentially releasing him off of just letting him go.
Yeah, we're sending his tender.
The only other guy in town. Now, there's some free agents out there, so it's not like they'd be stuck. But Zamir White is in the system and knows the playbook. So you think he'd be in line for the first rep snaps and be the starter. But look, I think
at that late and stuff like that's probably the best value pick at this point right now.
Yeah, I appreciate Josh leaving it for me. I do think a lot of these last rounds here are going to end up being, kickers and defense.
Yeah, it's going to be my last one. So
Dalton Kincaid going this late is a surprise because typically he goes much earlier. I'm not that high on rookie tight ends, but if any of them's going to have a shot, Dalton Kincaid will this year. It's just funny because he usually goes a lot earlier than some of these guys.
No, that's very true.
And then Josh saying he had to diversify a little bit, and I do appreciate your diversification. Because when you picked him on the other chat, I had to talk about it because it was a good pick, but I didn't want to talk about it. And then I realized, well, it's the same guy. You obviously weren't going to forget who he was between the two drafts. So I just went ahead and talked about it anyway. By the way, a potential starting quarterback this far into the, that just tells you how bad that Tampa Bay.
Yeah, super flex league too.
Yep.
Round 15. Jason, you're a Tampa Bay fan. I mean,
yeah,
he's the starter, right?
I mean, as of now, Kyle Trask is taken over as the potential starter. However, the way Tampa's running this is this part of training camp has the lowest amount of impact on the starting position. It's likely the preseason games and then the joint practices will have some more. What it is Baker's got a better deep ball, but he's turning it a lot more. Kyle Trask has only turned the ball over once in all of the practice that they've run.
Mm-hmm.
And that's something that they've preached in the preseason, that, hey, the quarterback with less turnovers.
I understand that.
So,
I understand that, but Kyle Trask also knows the system after being in last year too. So,
well, so here's the thing: we have a totally new offensive coordinator. Dave Canales came, the quarterback coach for Geno Smith, which is something that gives Tampa Bay fans a little bit of hope. Is that you've got a guy in Dave Canales who took Geno Smith over the last several years, and obviously with Pete Carroll there and the offensive coordinator, but you took a guy that was the quarterback's coach for Geno Smith when he had a good season, and you've given him to Tampa, who needs the same kind of thing with Baker or Kyle Trask. The offense I like a lot. What they're running, it's a lot more motion. It's a lot less. It's a lot less like go deep and beat your man. It's Mike Evans and Chris Godwin have come out and said, like, these are routes we haven't run in years, and we're running routes to get us open versus just to like one-on-one beat our guy. So it's stuff I like to hear. You just have to hope that the Tampa quarterback can actually do it. So,
yep. Okay.
All right. And then George is having to remind me. I apologize, guys, to roll my screen down so when we share my draft that you guys can see it. But we're towards the end now anyway, so most of this is going to be kickers and defense.
Those are Barry White. Oh yeah, you were talking about you taking them. So nice pick there, Jason. Nice pick. I like Romeo Dubs this late too.
Yeah, absolutely. They're talking in camp that he got wide open deep multiple times. But unfortunately, Love overthrew him.
I also like Irv Smith at tight end position this year, going this late too. That's a solid pick.
Let's see. So I guess it's not forcing me to take kicker and defense, but unlike what I think Josh is going to do, I'm going to be fair and I'm going to take a kicker and a defense just to.
It looks like he's already got his defense, so he needs to go kicker next. Josh, I'm holding you to it.
And then Ilya Vela says he likes team 1 and 3 in the Superflex. So after this, I think we should post the draft boards, George. If you can, if you want to post it in the Gilded chat, and we can have a good conversation about it after the video. Yeah. And then Daniel says, "Are we doing another one?" Let's see what time it is. It's 10:47. I don't think Rich has got another one in him. He literally. I'll have you know how dedicated Rich is to you guys. He literally walked in the door from his job sat down, plopped down, hadn't had dinner yet, jumped in the chair, and is doing these mock drafts for us.
And
So
as
I'm
I
not
was
gonna.
walking by to come in, my wife just had this snarling look on her face, saying, "Really?
I got the same thing, Rich. Don't feel so bad.
All this for you guys? All this just for you?"
Yeah, look, Rich is endangering his marriage just so he could mock draft with you guys. I don't want to get greedy with it. I'm gonna
25
take
years, 25 years, and throwing it down the drain.
take kicker here.
Yeah,
So
but
George,
this is
I do think we should post these in the Gilded chat. That way we can discuss them there, and then we can discuss them in the chats here too. And then look, this is what Rich lives for. Big Blake. Thanks,
yep.
Rich.
Appreciate you, Big Blake.
No, sir. We appreciate you. Let's see. And then the other draft is completed. I have one posted already. All right. So George has already posted one in the Gilded chat. He also posted the Gilded chats in these chats. So jump into Gilded, and you can see the conversation going on in those chats. We'll jump in as well.
And once again, if you are not in the Gilded chat, this is just a perfect opportunity to come join and chat about who had the best team. Because look, there's a lot of conversations that go in. I mean, we talk all kinds of stuff. So you know what? Just come be part of the family.
So a couple things I want to mention here, Mark Pina, and he's right here. This is a strategy you can use, especially if you don't care about your kicker or your defense. It's you pass during the draft, you get an extra 2 players, you wait and see if, especially now we haven't had any preseason games, some of these guys are going to get hurt, right? And you'll just be able to drop them for your kicker and your defense, but it gives you a shot at 2 skilled position players late in drafts, see what shakes out. So that's not a bad strategy when your league allows it. Some leagues allow it. The Sleeper League did, but some, especially like CBS, if you need a kicker and a defense, you have to leave your draft with it. So know your draft rules for sure. But it's a definite great strategy. And then Josh said he had a fever from Friday night till Sunday night. He forgot he wanted to join tonight, but got sick, and he has a sleeping baby on his chest at the moment. So I do want to thank Josh for sure for jumping in and being as active in the chat as possible, even though he's sick and has a baby with him. That's fantasy football dedication. Guys, if you want to, and look, I know we're not doing a third one tonight. We got asked about it. We run these all week, basically. There's going to be another one, not necessarily the video portion, but there's mock drafts. If you're in the Gilded chat, and we have a Mock Draft Lavatory chat specifically about mock drafts, we run them throughout the week. There's always mock drafts going against other skilled players, so you're not drafting against the riffraff. We love the riffraff, don't get me wrong, but if you're going to be in leagues where there's talented, dedicated, been here all off-season fantasy football guys, we do that in the Gilded chat for sure. And then we'll also run ones with guys that are fresh. So if you haven't been doing this all off-season, we will do that as well. So join us for sure. We run at least one every day. So guys, this has been Toilets Titles Mock Draft Lavatory. I do want to say hit the like and subscribe button. Thank you guys so much for watching. We really enjoyed having you guys do this with us, letting us talk about your teams, coming on here. We couldn't do this without you because honestly, it would just be me and Rich making every other pick. While that may be fun, it's probably not the greatest way to draft. So thank you guys for joining us tonight. I do again want to mention patreon.com/toiletstitles. You can join us. Frankenstein League next year is incredible. You should join in that when you get a chance. And then joinrival.com/title tribe. That is one of our sponsors. If you join Rival, it's a fantasy football gambling basically, but it's a fantasy football bet where you can play head to head against other people. You can bet against people's rankings, all kinds of different type of sports bets, which are fun to play. I know Rich is a degenerate betting on preseason games. You can too. They also, if they'll match you up to $200, and if you use Title Tribe as the code, they'll give you another $25 on top of that. So joinrival.com/title tribe. Jump in there for us as well. But thank you guys. And then the last thing I'm going to mention, because they've been doing mock drafts all off season, Josh has got some solid T2T ADP pull up for the next show to compare picks instead of just Sleepers ADP, which is very cool. And if you go to toiletsidles.com, we have all kinds of rankings and articles and all of our videos and on and on and on, wherever else you can find us, all the Twitter handles and all of that as well. So, guys, thank you so much again for joining us, and we will see you next week and on all of our shows, including tomorrow's night's main show where they're doing players they would and wouldn't take at their ADP. So we'll see you next week right here on Mock Draft Lavatory.